It's 5:42 p.m. Nothing is over. Everything is still happening. The kitchen is a complete mess. Just like all of ours. Your cold coffee is still sitting on the counter. It always is. And then, it happens. A tiny whine. A dropped toy. A sudden meltdown over the wrong cup. And before you can form a logical thought, your body explodes. No warning. No permission. Your jaw clenches so tight your teeth hurt. Your shoulders snap aggressively up to your ears. Your heart starts violently hammering against your ribs, and a sudden wave of pure, unfiltered rage, or perhaps absolute terror washes over you. You desperately want to scream. You want to run out the front door and never look back. And then, the crying stops. And the heavy silence that follows is deafening. Because in that deep silence, the noise immediately creeps in. That insidious, whispered question echoing in your mind. What kind of mother gets activated by something this painfully small? What is fundamentally wrong with me? Why am I panicking? Welcome to the village. If you are hiding in the bathroom right now, staring blankly at the floor tiles, feeling like a complete monster, drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a very deep breath. Because I am about to prove to you, mathematically, biologically, and scientifically, that you are not broken. You are not a toxic mom. You are experiencing a literal amygdala hijack, and the dangerous threat your brain is aggressively responding to isn't your crying toddler. It's a ghost from your past. This isn't weakness. This was learned. This is not your fault. And here's the part no one ever explained to you. Let's talk about the neurobiology of a crying child. According to the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry, a baby's cry is an acoustic weapon. It is biologically engineered to pierce through everything. It is designed to trigger your sympathetic nervous system. Survival mode. Instantly. And this is where everything starts to make sense. When that sound hits your ear, it doesn't just go to your auditory cortex. It goes straight to your amygdala, the brain's internal fire alarm. And it doesn't ask for permission. But your amygdala doesn't just process the present moment. It remembers. It relies on your autobiographical memory network. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, author of The Body Keeps the Score, explains that trauma isn't just a memory. It is a physical reaction actively living inside your nervous system right now. Your brain is a time machine. When your child screams, your brain searches its database for the last time you heard a sound like that. The last time you felt that level of distress. And for many of us, that search goes all the way back to our own childhood. Maybe back to 1994. Or earlier, when you were crying and no one came. We remember. Even when we think we don't. When your distress was met with anger or coldness. Your toddler's cry isn't just a demand for milk. It is a psychological trigger. It wakes up an older alarm that was already living inside you. An alarm that says, distress is highly dangerous. Your adult body isn't reacting to a 2-year-old. It is reacting to an unresolved threat from decades ago. It is neuroception operating at its rawest form. Your body detecting danger, even when there is none. This is the unspoken reality of reparenting. You are trying to hold space for your child's emotions, while your inner child is simultaneously screaming in sheer terror. It is a deeply painful emotional overlap. You are fighting a war on 2 different fronts. On the outside, you are a grown woman trying to soothe a dysregulated toddler. On the inside, your primitive nervous system is convinced that a predator is in the room. This is why the physical reaction feels disproportionate. It is an allostatic load of epic proportions. Your body is carrying stress it was never designed to carry for this long. You aren't just tired from the day. You are biologically exhausted from decades of silently suppressing your own unmet childhood needs. Dr. Bruce Perry's research on trauma clearly shows that a dysregulated adult cannot regulate a child. But how can you stay regulated when your child's tears feel like physical pain? When every whine feels like a paper cut on your soul? It is entirely because of your compromised vagal tone. Your vagus nerve, the superhighway of your nervous system, is stuck in overdrive. Like it never learned how to slow down. It is wearing a heavy, invisible armor. When you were little, you learned to shut down your own cries to survive. You learned that big feelings were unsafe. So now, when your child freely expresses their feelings, your brain panics. It screams internally. Stop! It isn't safe to be loud. Your rage isn't actually rage. It is a profound, ancient fear. You are trying to protect yourself from a perceived danger that no longer exists. You are literally mourning the comfort you never received. But the past is only half of the story. Let's talk about the systemic failure of the modern mother. Let's talk about the suffocating pressure of the noise. The toxic cultural expectation that you must mother with unbreakable serenity. Society demands that you be the gentle, regulated parent 24 hours a day. You are told to soak in every fleeting moment, as if that were biologically possible. You are told that a truly good mother never loses her temper. This is a destructive biological lie, and it is actively killing your nervous system. Dr. Stephen Porges, founder of the polyvagal theory, emphasizes that true biological safety requires deep connection. But you are doing all of this alone. You are operating an emotionally draining enterprise without any crew. You are running purely on empty fumes. Your internal battery isn't just low, it has been empty for years. When you force yourself to smile through the chaos, when you suppress your natural biological response to stress because the noise told you a good mom doesn't get angry, you are dangerously internalizing a cortisol cascade. Your body staying in alert, with no off switch. You are trapping that fight-or-flight energy deep inside your muscle tissues. The perceived threat feels giant not because the child is loud, but because your exhausted body has zero physical reserves left to absorb the shock. You have no village to hand the crying baby to. The sheer isolation amplifies the biological alarm. Your exhausted brain perceives the toddler's crying as a lethal threat because it fundamentally knows. Deep down, your biology knows. You are completely, dangerously alone in the wild. And your brain knows it. So, how do we stop this terrifying alarm? How do we turn off the blaring sirens in your head? First, you absolutely have to name the ghost. When the panic violently rises in your chest, when the jaw clenches and the primal urge to run hits you like a freight train, do not judge the feeling. Do not invite the cruel judgment of the noise into your kitchen. Instead, actively recognize the underlying science. Say it out loud. This is a biological amygdala hijack. I am experiencing an emotional flashback. You have to teach your evolved prefrontal cortex to calm your primitive, scared brain. One part of you, teaching the other how to survive again. You have to physically look around your messy kitchen. Look directly at the cold coffee. Something real. Something now. Look at the toys scattered on the floor. Remind your terrified nervous system. I am safe. It is the year 2026. I am the capable adult now. This is the grueling essence of reparenting. You are not just soothing the crying child standing in front of you. You are soothing the terrified child trapped inside of you who is afraid of making a mistake. It requires intentionally breaking the cycle of borrowed guilt. The heavy guilt that a broken society effortlessly handed to you. A guilt that says your normal biological limits are deep moral failings. If you need to, leave that borrowed guilt down below. You don't have to carry it alone. Leave it in the comments section. Let it completely go. When you realize that your intense physical reaction is simply biology, just a functioning nervous system desperately trying to keep you alive, the paralyzing shame finally loses its dark power. You stop brutally fighting yourself. And when you stop fighting your own natural biology, your overactive vagus nerve finally begins to relax. The invisible armor slowly begins to crack. Make absolutely no mistake, this is not easy work. Actively rewiring decades of deeply entrenched neural pathways while simultaneously raising a loud toddler is simply the hardest psychological marathon a human being can possibly run. You are carrying what entire generations never knew how to put down. You are single-handedly stopping the generational trauma from passing down, using absolutely nothing but your own physically exhausted body as the ultimate shield. That immense sacrifice doesn't make you a terrible monster. That makes you an absolute warrior. It is perfectly okay if your heart violently races sometimes. It is perfectly okay if you desperately need to step away for a minute and just breathe. It is perfectly okay if you occasionally hate the relentless noise. You are fully allowed to be a complex human being. You are fully allowed to have hard biological limits. We are intentionally building a completely new paradigm right here. The science of grace, where we finally replace societal judgment with hard neurobiology, where we permanently replace maternal shame with profound, scientific validation. If this deeply resonated with your soul today, if your tightly wound nervous system felt even a tiny bit lighter watching this, if this found you when you needed it, leave a small light down below. So another mother knows she's not alone. So she knows she's not the only one. Welcome to the village. The noise outside will still be there tomorrow. They will still expect the perfect mom. But the perfect mom doesn't exist, only you do. And science already proved you are exactly who your baby needs. Drop your shoulders. Take a deep breath. And I'll see you in our next pause.